Oh, my BlackBerry babies. Oh, hi everyone, I'm Sam Tucker, and today we'll be ranking every BlackBerry I've ever owned in our BlackBerry tier list. And no, I don't mean tears as in tears that you cry because they don't make BlackBerries anymore. No, we hold them in. No, I mean let's rank the BlackBerries. Let's go. Ah, look at that beauty. Yes, let's start off with the first BlackBerry I ever owned back in, I don't know, it was 2016, 2017, maybe before, the BlackBerry Classic. And it truly is quite a beautiful classic. First of all, the feel in the hand, you get that nice, lovely keyboard with tactile feedback. They don't make enough phones with keyboards or even keyboard cases anymore. I miss it so much. When you get a chance to try it out, you miss it. Well, at first, a lot of people, I think, throw up a little in their mouth, but they swallow it along with their pride, and then they like it. You know, I originally got this to help fight some of my smartphone addiction, and let me tell you, the BlackBerry Classic was the perfect mix of smart and dumb phone. It was average phone, and that's exactly what I wanted. So this one also had the belt with the center nipple right there. Unfortunately, I did get this second hand, which means that the nipple was already a little worn out. Understandable, I guess, but it did make it a little less responsive. Got a headphone jack, you don't see that much anymore. SD card and SIM card slots there. Just one camera, one kind of pitiful camera, but I did manage to shoot an entire YouTube video on it and edit it on this device. So, you know, it was somewhat capable. The big downside to this and pretty much every BlackBerry 10 device is that they shut down the App Store, which is a shame because it now doesn't work with Signal, my messaging app of choice. And if it did, maybe I'd even use this as oh, one of my other BlackBerries got excited. That's right, Key One. You wait your turn. But without some essential apps now, it just doesn't work. Another thing that doesn't work is the S and the A and the spacebar key every now and then. But ignoring that, I think this is S tier. I'm taking it up to S tier. When I first got it, I fell in love with it. It's a beautiful phone. I wish I could still use it. This is my favorite BlackBerry. We're starting off strong with my favorite. The next BlackBerry I unfortunately didn't take with me to Romania. That was a mistake. I should always keep all BlackBerries not only in the house but on me at all time. But it was my second BlackBerry, the Q10, which was basically a shrunk down version of the Classic. It didn't have the belt or nipple here. It didn't have the stainless steel rim, which actually saved this phone. I dropped it on some concrete and it just got a scuff. Whereas the Q10, it's a plastic structure. It's a little bit too small. I do miss the nipple. You don't have the nipple on it, but one awesome bonus that it did have that the Classic didn't have was the HDMI port. So boom, hello, do all your presentations on the beautiful HDMI screen so you can shove your AirPlay up my ass. Cable life forever. I'll give it B tier. Next on the block is the BlackBerry Z10. Again, this isn't one that I kept with me because it wasn't really my favorite, but it has some interesting points. It's the only full screen BlackBerry I've ever used, full touch screen. Yes, it did run the same BBOS, the BlackBerry 10 software that these BlackBerries ran, but I will say that software, that OS did run a little bit better when it did have more screen to play with. But don't tell my sweet keyboarded BlackBerries that, because the experience goes down again when you don't have those physical keys, and it just feels wrong to use a software keyboard on a BlackBerry. Just breaks my heart. So Z10, I'm sorry, you're going down to a C tier. I mean, you did feel good in the hand, but that's not all you need. Moving on, light up my life with a BlackBerry Torch. Again, one I don't have on me right now, but boy, that was another interesting one because not only did it have the physical keyboard, but it had the sliding mechanism, which made it extra fun to go ka-chuk, ka-chuk, like you're loading a gun or something, ready to get business done. It wasn't overly reliable. It would sometimes slide out when you didn't mean it to and you'd fumble with it. And you do get a little bit sad when it puts a software keyboard on that small screen. It does make me think a little bit about those flip phones, those new flip phones with the small screens on front, except that's the only screen that it had. And also, it's the only BlackBerry device I've used that had BB08 or BB9, like an older version of BlackBerry on it. So it was less capable, and I really couldn't use that as a normal phone. And plus, it did make some silly decisions like a headphone jack on the side. So while it does win points for some style, it does lose them in every other aspect. I'm sorry, D tier. Okay, get excited people, because we have this one in the house. This is the BlackBerry Passport. Now, you can basically think of this as an upscaled version of the Classic here. As you can see, the screen is a lot bigger, and because this is a 1x1 square screen, the only way to make it bigger is to make the entire phone bigger. So they made it the size of a passport, and you might think it looks a bit silly, but it feels great. They put a lot of craftsmanship and care. Again, you get the steel. I'm pretty sure there's steel edges on the side here. Yes, the keyboard on this one is tactile, but it doesn't have the belt, and the space bar is with the letters instead of under the letters, and you don't have your special keys like your dollar signs or whatever, and your star signs. You don't have your star signs on your passport. It was a bit more powerful than the Classic, which did make it a little more nice to use, and the camera was a bit better too. I did very much enjoy using my time with this. This is an A-tier BlackBerry. Okay, moving on with the BlackBerry Key 1. This is when BlackBerry really wanted to make a cool comeback with the cool kids. This is it's not the first BlackBerry that ran Android, but it's the first BlackBerry that ran Android with a physical keyboard. And I think, yeah, it's one of those capacitive ones as well, except it capacitates the opposite way. But this did reignite my excitement and passion for BlackBerry when I started to use this as my daily driver. My other daily driver, as we know, is Jeeves. But yes, because I was sad that I couldn't use my Classic anymore, because it didn't run all those Signal apps and stuff like that, this BlackBerry Key 1 could, and it could do all the other fun stuff that Android does. However, the downside with that is it does all the googly things that Android does, which means it's a lot less private than the other BlackBerries. So because it had that Google sort of spyware stuff in it, I never felt fully comfortable using it. Although these BlackBerries, they're like the only phones now that I actually enjoy and love using. Unfortunately, again, this was secondhand, so it did have some wear and tear, like the back cover. If I pull that too much, it will start to come off, which is not super specifically meant to, unlike the older BlackBerries where the cover came off so you could swap out the battery. But I tell you what, if this could somehow have a more private version of Android, like Graphene or EOS or something like that, then maybe I'd go back to this bad boy. But I have to say sayonara to this one too, although I will give this a beautiful B tier. The BlackBerry Key 2 LE. I did review this one on the channel. Unfortunately, it was a loaner. I didn't actually buy that one. Now, while that one is technically a successor to the Key 1, it is the cheaper version of the Key 2, which I didn't get to try, which means it is made of more plasticky stuff compared to the Key 1, which had sort of more metal premium feeling finishes. And another sad thing about the Key 2 LE, the model that I had, I think at some point it had its screen replaced with a non-official version, because I think it was basically meant to have the same panel, the same display as this Key 1, but the one that I had, it was very sort of washed out and looked a little like it had less pixels or something, so it did dampen my experience. I really wish I could have gotten a chance to try the Key 2. Maybe one day I will, but the Key 2 LE, it made me sad. It gets a D. Okay, we've almost wrapped up now. We're looking in the tablet territory. Yes, BlackBerry made a tablet. It wasn't successful, that's why you haven't heard of it. The BlackBerry Playbook. I almost forgot the name myself. Although it is very fun that it exists, and I very much enjoyed that I was able to get my hands on one of these bad boys, it is not fun to use. Nothing really works anymore. I don't know if they even worked when it first came out. The case that it came in would shed these little flakes of black faux rubber or something everywhere. And yeah, it was just slow and thick and heavy. And so it's an F. This is the only BlackBerry that I'm gonna give an F. And those are my BlackBerries. I've had a heck of a time busting these bad boys out again. I wish I had the whole family together. You know what? I hope they do make that Key 3 one day. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this. How are your BlackBerries? Let me know how you ranked them down below. And until next time, I just want to say stay funky, everyone. Sam Time signing out. Just like the BlackBerry have signed out the profits.
Subscribe today.
Now my BlackBerry tablet. You wait your turn too, BlackBerry tablet. They're all buzzing and getting excited. This is the only time they get used by anyone in the world, and they can't contain themselves. A tour de force for BlackBerry. I'm enjoying just holding this again.